Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, representing Tattoo Frenzy, Amityville, New York. So anyway, someone had commented on one of my last videos that they wanted to know if I was going to do an impressions video regarding E3. I initially wasn't going to, but after talking to them, I was like, you know what, I'll kind of throw my 2 cents in there. I don't have much to say, so this may be a bit boring, but I will briefly touch upon each of the major players. Besides Ubisoft, I probably won't get into them. So we'll start out with the Xbox. Microsoft released the first kind of visuals and information, like main information, on the Xbox One X, previously known as the Scorpio. It does native 4K. It's the strongest console that's going to be on the market. They've also announced that they're going to do backwards compatibility with the original Xbox, not the 360, the original Xbox. So I assume it's going to be kind of like the way the 360 games are implemented, where there's some kind of like, I don't know if they'll do an emulator for the original Xbox via software, or it's going to be like downloads the way they are with the 360 titles. But either way, I thought that was really cool. I do have a handful of original Xbox titles, most I've beaten, and one that I had gotten rid of my original Xbox probably about, I don't know, a year and a half or 2 years ago, and gave away most of the games, sadly. So some of those games I would have went back and tried to beat or do whatever with, but now I can always rebuy them, I guess, if they do become compatible. But that was pretty cool news that original Xbox titles are going to be able to be played. Some people think it's stupid. I think it's pretty cool and definitely a benefit for people who have all their systems hooked up. The other thing about the Xbox One X is it can do 4K Blu-rays. It does 4K, you know, whatever content you give it. They're going to use some 4K patches for original Xbox One games so that some of your games will run better and, you know, up-convert to 4K. They also said even if you have a 1080 set, which is me, it will help the performance of certain titles and I guess make them run quicker and load faster and more frames. And so that's cool. I mean, is it going to be like a day one purchase for me? Definitely not. The price is $499. Which is actually less than I thought it was going to be. Everyone's saying it's expensive. I thought it was going to be like $600–700. So I'm actually not okay with $500. I wouldn't spend $500. But maybe in a year after it comes out, if I still want one, and if they're, you know, $350 or comes with a game and it's cheaper, and I have a lot of Amazon credit or something, maybe I'll get one, kind of like I did with the original Xbox One. They showed some games. They showed Sea of Thieves, which is the like pirate MMO that looks kind of like cartoony, made by Rare. Looks okay. I signed on today for their alpha, so I'm hoping I get accepted so I can see what the game's like. Doesn't look amazing or anything, but it looks okay. A game by BioWare called Anthem, which is sort of leading the charge now that I guess they're done with Mass Effect, because Mass Effect did so poorly. Metro got a new game, which was a cool series based on a book. I played Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light, and I enjoyed them both, so that's cool. I may pick that up when it eventually drops a little bit in price. They also mentioned State of Decay 2, which is the sequel to the zombie game State of Decay. This one's going to, you know, be better and bigger and blah blah blah, and have an online co-op, which is pretty much what the first game felt like it was lacking. It felt like it was interesting and had some cool elements, cool survival elements, but would have been a lot better with a second player. So I think that them adding that is definitely a good idea. And finally, one of the other games that looked kind of cool was The Last Night, and it looks like a cyberpunky Blade Runner sort of pixely retro kind of game. The gameplay looks like something out of Flashback or Out of This World, so I might check that out possibly. I'm not big into those types of games anymore, but it does, the art style definitely, you know, piques my interest. As for Sony, they announced a new God of War, a new Spider-Man. I really don't have any interest in either of those titles. I'm sort of the kind of guy that if I play something similar, where I play a title in a series, I don't go back to the sequels, or I don't play the newer renditions unless I really love something. I also don't have a PS4, so it doesn't really mean much to me because I can't play them. They also said Undertale, the indie darling that they usually compare to like Earthbound and stuff, is coming out for the Vita and the PS4. That's one I would have liked to play, so that's kind of stings I don't have a PS4. I think Sony really did well this past like year and a half in terms of exclusives. so I am missing out on some titles that probably would have been really good for me. They've also showed some clips from Detroit. I can't think of the full name. Detroit something Beyond Human something City. I don't remember what the hell it's called. And that's made by Quantic Dream, who I'm a big fan of. They did Indigo Prophecy and Omicron: The Nomad Soul. Omicron was on the PC and the Dreamcast. Indigo Prophecy was on the original Xbox only, I think, and PC, and that was really cool too. So I always miss out on Quantic Dream's games because, as I said, I have an Xbox, I don't have a PlayStation. They also showed off Monster Hunter, and that's coming out on the PlayStation 4, the Xbox, and I think they said PC. So that's cool. I mean, I always found Monster Hunter to be kind of grindy and difficult with a steep learning curve, and like you have to really dedicate a lot of time to it. But from what I did play on the PSP online a little bit, and I did play a little bit on the Wii U, it's cool. It's not something I would purchase day one. None of this stuff really is, but it is something I would possibly look at when the price drops. Nintendo now, to get to Nintendo, they announced a Metroid Prime 4. I don't have a Switch, and I've never really been the biggest Metroid fan. They said in the future, in 2018, there should be a Pokemon RPG coming out, and they're doing a Pokken Wii U conversion over. It's for a Pokken tournament. That's cool. I have Pokken on the Wii U. It's a cool game. I like it. I'm not going to buy a Switch, I don't think. They also showed off a Raven Rabbids Mario strategy game, which kind of threw everyone for a loop because I think they were expecting like a party game or something kind of simplistic, and the strategy game is pretty interesting. So that's kind of cool. They did like you keep comparing it to XCOM or like the old Fallout type game, so that's interesting. They showed off some of Xenoblade 2 and a new Kirby game, and they look cute like the normal, you know, standard Nintendo fare. They showed a Yoshi game which looks really, really a lot like Woolly World, which is good, but it doesn't look different enough to me. And they said the Switch is getting Rocket League, and it's going to be cross-play, I guess, with the PS4 and Xbox, I believe. They didn't get into how much cross-play, if it's just with Xbox or just with PlayStation. I know PlayStation recently announced they didn't want to do cross-play with Microsoft on something, so I'm not sure if that's going to follow suit with every title. And I think that was about it for those three companies in terms of what I remember and what struck me as interesting. Bethesda came out with a new Wolfenstein game. What else? I know Beyond Good and Evil 2 got announced at one point. I don't remember which company that was. I think that was Ubisoft, actually, even though I said I wasn't going to talk about them. I don't really have interest in it. Wolfenstein was cool. I thought Wolfenstein was good, so I may play that one in the future. A new Evil Within got announced from Bethesda. I really liked the first Evil Within, but unless they really change it up or add something interesting, that's one of those games I may not play the sequel to, or at least right away. And Sony showed off some new VR games. I believe they did a Fallout 4 VR edition or something coming out, and I'm not really into VR. Some first-person shooters actually make me nauseous, so not as much this gen, but more last gen. So I don't really want to experience VR too much. If somebody has it, I'd check it out, but it's not something I'm going to ever go out and buy or waste that kind of money on. So yeah, those are my sort of quick overview on the conference. Nothing that really like jumped out at me and went, wow, like kind of when Shenmue 3 got announced, like holy crap, this is great. You know, I don't have a PlayStation or a PC that can play it, but I'm glad it's coming out, and I'm happy for the people that have this stuff that really want to play it because I love Shenmue. So nothing really stuck out to me like a great deal, but you know, I'm so-so on the Xbox One X. I think it's really cool that it'll run the games better, that it's native 4K, unlike the Pro, the PlayStation Pro, which up-converts and isn't as strong. But I have a 1080 set, so you know, if it runs the games better and they look a little better and they're got better frames or a more stable frame rate, that's cool. It may be a purchase down the line, but nothing that really blew me away. So this E3 was very kind of flat for me. So that's really it. I did go on Microsoft's new app, the Mixer. It's like a version of Twitch, but for Microsoft. And signed in today and looked at some of their event from today. And I'm supposed to get some free games because I like tuned in, like Rare Replay and a couple of like indie games. So that's cool that they gave out some free stuff like that. We'll see what happens when it comes in. But yeah, tell me what you guys thought about E3. Leave some comments down below. Tell me if anything was like, you know, amazing for you or that you were really waiting for. And we'll see what happens. So thanks guys for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.